Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO weekly news update. Lots of things happened in the world of LEGO this week. Probably the biggest story is that 3 new sets got accepted by Ideas and are going to be officially turned into LEGO sets. So that's pretty cool. We go over some Star Wars stuff. Triple Force Friday is next week, for example, so there's some promotions included with that. There's a few other little sets that were revealed, some other LEGO news tidbits we're going to be getting into. But first, what did we put up in the web store this week?
The custom build that went up in the web store this week is the Republic Dropship, the LAAT, designed by the incredibly talented builder David Buckles. It matches up with his minifig scale ATTE, and of course it does link up and you can pick them all up together in one unit if you like. So if you want to build this set for yourself, you can find the instructions at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. It's a great way to help support the channel and what we do here at BrickVault, and it's an awesome way to help support the builders that work with us like David. Now jumping into the first story of the week, I had a really tough time sort of guessing which one might be the lead story. So when in doubt, I just like to talk about Ideas stuff. The first review stage of 2019 has closed out, and surprisingly, there were 3 winners announced. That's pretty cool considering there were only 10 up for judgment, one being the Playable Piano that was carried over from the last review stage. And speaking of which, let me get into the winners. That was one of them. It is Donnie Chen, aka Sleepy Cow, the designer that was the builder for this playable Lego piano. And I think a lot of people were really taken aback by the promotional video and just how clever and interesting those connections were that ended up making movable keys and the whole deal. I think because the Lego design team has decided to accept it, they really went hard on trying to make the functions work on the inside, so it should be hopefully pretty similar to what we saw from the original video. So guaranteed we're going to probably have 1 or 2 new official Lego building techniques, at least I certainly hope so. And then another build that got accepted is the Pirate Bay by Brick. This designer, probably more than any other in my personal opinion, definitely deserved to win. Brick has a ton of other amazing models that are still being voted on right now, and the Pirate Bay is an amazing throwback to classic pirate sets, which is one of my personal favorite themes. Just by looking at the pictures here, you can see pretty obviously why something like this was accepted. It's an excellent looking model, and I have a feeling it's going to be done in a similar light to how the old fishing store was put together. And then this is, I think, going to be a really fun nostalgic one for a lot of people. The 123 Sesame Street by Bulldozer 21 was accepted, so that's the 3rd one coming down the line. Really colorful on the inside. I love that. It looks like the designer made the walls like 2 layers thick, which is kind of an interesting approach, but that's what allows for the interiors to look so good and the exterior to look kind of normal and plain, which is what the Sesame Street building generally looked like. And this means that we're going to be getting a lot of Sesame Street figs. Who knows what the final count is going to be? I know some people are going to be disappointed. They can't obviously fit every single character from Sesame Street in the final set. At least I'm saying that just by pure guess right now. All I can say is for sure Big Bird and Elmo. Personally, I hope they do the classic Cookie Monster. I hear he's the Veggie Monster now, though. And I don't know who else I'd want after that. Maybe Bert and Ernie. We'll see. And then this, I was almost really disappointed, but right at the end of the announcement video, they did say that the Anatomini by Stephonics is still technically being reviewed or requires further review because it is kind of a very technical and interesting and probably very difficult thing to turn into a legal Lego build. But it looks like the designers are interested and they're going for it, but they haven't found out whether or not it's still a viable build. But I like that they're still actively working on turning this into a final set. This was my number 1, but we won't know if this gets turned into a final set until early January when they announce the 2nd stage of 2019 winners for 10,000 votes. Anyways, guys, I think this is cool. We're getting 3 for sure, possibly an extra one for the next review stage with the Anatomini. Personally, I like all their choices. Let me know if you thought other ones deserved the win or not, and let's move on to the next bit of news. And then let me just knock this out of the way very quickly. It's not really news. news. All the reviews, I think, are up on YouTube already for the latest Rise of Skywalker sets, but LEGO has a really strict embargo, and because we're part of the Ambassador Network, we just can't talk about them until now. So I can actually say what sets are coming down the line for October, even though other stores are already selling them, like always. So starting from the smallest to largest, we've got the Death Star cannon, $20, 159 pieces. New hood piece for Obi-Wan, which is cool. Moving down the line, there is the Resistance A-Wing Starfighter, 269 pieces, sells for $29.99. The build itself doesn't look that different in a whole lot of ways compared to other A-Wing builds, even though the Resistance A-Wing Starfighter is a little different from the classic ones. And then the next set is the Resistance Y-Wing Starfighter, 578 pieces, sells for $69.99. It's red and white. You can tell that some of the details have changed, like maybe the ends of the engines aren't rounded over quite the same way. The minifigs look pretty good though. I'm liking everything that's coming in this set just in terms of the figs for sure. And then the next one coming up is the Pisana Speeder Chase, 373 pieces, sells for $39.99. This one comes with Rey and one of those jetpack troopers, which gotta say looked kind of cool in the trailer. And the two builds are, one is a speeder and the other one looks like sort of a treaded bike, similar to that one from Halo. You know what I'm talking about? Neither of the builds honestly really impress me, partially because I just don't have a lot of reference material for these odd grungy looking vehicles. Now we're moving on to the AT-ST Raider, 540 pieces, sells for $49.99. It looks very similar to the last time we got an AT-ST, though it's been recolored, and this is a set based on the new Mandalorian show. So you actually get the Mandalorian, which is cool, and I do like the red and brown leg. It's kind of like an old school AT-ST. Doesn't belong to the Empire anymore. As you can see, it's probably been stolen out of one of their stockyards at some point. Of course, we're going to be getting this just because the Mandalorian looks awesome. I hope that show's cool. And then there is a new Yoda. They did a really old one back in the day. This is the new and improved version. Those eyes kind of creep me out a little bit. He does have a lightsaber. The pose is better, and it certainly is an improvement upon the previous build, though there's something about it that just kind of creeps me out, and it's got to be those eyes. I like that they included them though, because I know people are going to do some crazy things with custom building later down the line. It is 1,771 pieces, sells for $99.99. And then the rumors are true. Kylo Ren's shuttle has been turned to black. It is 1,005 pieces, sells for $129.99, and it comes with a bunch of exclusive figs, a couple of Knights of Ren, which is cool, a Sith Trooper, so people are going to be looking forward to this for both the figs and of course the much more improved and updated build for Kylo Ren's shuttle. Now this is my personal favorite, the one I'm looking forward to the most, because they finally updated the Millennium Falcon after, I don't know, over 10 years I think. It's got 1,351 pieces, and it comes with a variety of interesting characters. You've got the new Lando and some very odd, interesting alien headpiece. I don't know who that character is, but it looks cool. But honestly, the Millennium Falcon build is finally improved, and it looks so much better. It fixed all the things that I kept on complaining about in the last two sets. I know you guys have been probably sleeping through me talking about this. I have to talk about it just because I want to, and it is weird that it's so late coming from this channel, but that is sort of the plus and minus of being in the LEGO Ambassador Network. Eventually, you'll see some reviews coming out for these sets on this channel. And then this is kind of a weird one. Remember Toys R Us? Well, they have some Bricktober exclusives, which is very interesting. It's 4 different scenes from Asia that you can collect. They're going to be out in Hong Kong next week, possibly Toys R Us Canada, and anybody outside of those markets is going to have to get them on the secondary one, but they do actually look like some fun micro builds. I'm unsure if these sets were planned after Toys R Us had announced bankruptcy, and that's why it's an Asia-centric set of exclusives, or if they had these planned out from forever ago and they still just sort of have to release them, even though Toys R Us went bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's move on. This is actually kind of a fun one. It's both a cool building challenge and it's also creepy, a little bit, at least in my opinion. LEGO Mindstorms is partnering up with Alexa, that's right, the Amazon Alexa, in a way where you can program your Mindstorms creations to react to commands from your Alexa. So basically, voice-activated robot movements. Also, this challenge is pretty hardcore. I think the prizes are pretty good, and the first 100 people to submit anything get $150 gift card for Amazon. I like that LEGO is keeping Mindstorm stuff alive. They're not just completely moving on over to sort of the more simplified version of a lot of their electronic and programmable creations, but also it is kind of interesting, the idea that you can activate a robot to do something just by cueing your Alexa through voice-activated controls. The long-term consequences consequences of this. I think with modern technology outside of the Lego realm is kind of stark, but hopefully we're going to get some really fun mechanical creations powered just by your voice. So who knows, maybe this is like the beginning of Skynet taking over. We'll find out later, I suppose. And then from the Reputation Institute, it looks like Lego has ranked first for global corporate responsibility for the year 2019. I feel like it's every year they're winning an award like this, or maybe the same one. In general, Lego seems to be treating their employees pretty darn good, and as a company, they are making lots of conscious efforts just to do good things in general. Anyways, if you want to read the full report, everything I talk about is linked in the description below, but long story short, Lego's a pretty good company. Now let's segue over to something that I'm not really a huge fan of, but I suppose it's better than nothing. If you subscribe to Lego text messages, you can get a promo code for a free Lego Star Wars Mini BB-8 with a purchase of $60 or more. Instead of just getting the BB-8 with a purchase of $60 or more, they're kind of making you jump through this extra hoop now of subscribing to their text message sort of sales thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a free thing with the gift with purchase, but this is the first time they make you do an extra thing for it. And this is the same BB-8 that came out, I think, from last May the 4th. I don't know. In general, I don't like it when people make you sign up for extra stuff, like they wanted you to do the Target credit card at some point for another exclusive set. Anyways, the Lego Seasonal Limited Edition Christmas tree, set number 40338, has been revealed, and I gotta say, looks like the best darn Lego Christmas tree that's been built, or certainly the largest one. The train around the bottom, I think for me personally, really does it, and I do find it kind of interesting that the ornaments are stacked on top of the studs instead of hanging from underneath. I wonder why they did it that way. Generally, though, the green staggered layers I think look really good on this build, and there's lots of nice little ornament pieces used. It's 392 pieces, and it's going to be available as a gift with purchase during the holiday season, though we don't know any other specifics about it right now.
All right, that is going to be it for this episode, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe. Top 10 mocks of the week is tomorrow, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.